The Gifford fire in California, not even 10% contained right now. It's already the biggest fire of the year in that state. It has burned more than 80,000 acres in Southern California. And right now, Santa Barbara County Fire Captain Scott Safechuck is joining us. Captain Safechuck, I believe, is joining us by the phone. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can, Jessica.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We're looking at video as we're talking to you. I just want you to set the scene for people. It's one thing to see this on television. It's something else to be there in person. What's it like?
Yeah, well, we've been experiencing temperatures in the 90 degrees with relative humidity below 20%. And our firefighters are working in a rural part of the county, and it borders Santa Barbara County and San Luis County. And there's steep drainages. We've got the forest and the wilderness that our firefighters are working in. And it's just super steep, rugged terrain with intense fire behavior. And as it heats up throughout the day, the coastal influence recedes, which allows for that fire behavior to increase, creating columns that have so much moisture in them and so much energy that it rises up to a high altitude. And the top of that smoke column ices out, collapses down, and then increases the fire behavior that much more and spreading it in all directions.
Yeah, and you can see by your description why this is so hard to get under control right now. The weather just not helping you at all. And I can't help but think about earlier this year, also in Southern California, in the Palisades and Altadena, firefighters, I would assume you all were there as well, working absolutely overtime to keep people safe. How does this compare to that?
It's a little bit different in nature, where the Southern California fires, such as the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, they were really wind-driven fires that just pushed that fire out of the vegetation into the neighborhoods. And once it gets established into the neighborhoods under those windy conditions, it's so hard to stop it. And when the wind stops, then we're able to battle that. We're here, we're dealing with more terrain-driven and wind influence fires with a lot of old growth in those areas. So very difficult fires to fight, just kind of different influences on them.
That totally makes sense. And we also think about those firefighters, these heroes that are out there, your colleagues doing incredible work. Do they have what they need? How are they holding up?
Yeah, well, we need more. We have more firefighters coming in. We have just over 2,000 firefighters and one base camp. And the geographical, the spread of this fire is so great that it takes our firefighters over an hour and a half to get to certain areas. So we're establishing a second base camp, putting another 700 to 1,000 firefighters there, with the potential of a third base camp out in New Cuyama, which would be on the north side. So think of north, east, and west sides of the fire will have large base camps that look like mini cities.
And so what happens now? How long do you think it will take to get this under control? Obviously, you're surging your resources.
That's right. We are surging our resources. We have competing fire, so we compete for resources. But this is the largest fire in the state currently. And it was just a month ago that we had the largest fire at 80,000 acres. So we've surpassed that, and that fire was just to the east of us. So our northeastern edge has hit that edge of the Madre fire. So that allowed us some containment improvement. And we just keep working forward. We have more resources coming, and we'll just keep working hard on this fire.
And just quickly, do we know what started this? I know that can take a while to figure out.
Yeah, it is under investigation with our law enforcement partners under a unified command with the Forest Service, CAL FIRE, California Incident Management Team, which is a federal team, as well as the Sheriff's Department. And collectively, they are working to solve this.
All right, Captain Scott Safechuck, thank you. Please stay safe out there. We really appreciate your time. And I want to bring in Derek Van Dam now in our Weather Center to walk us through the elements that they are fighting. Derek, as we were just talking to the captain there, he really laid out just how much they are up against the weather here.
Yeah, 100%. So there's this recipe for hazardous fire weather, right? Low relative humidities, strong gusty winds, and we have increasing temperatures. And unfortunately, that's set to continue in the days to come. But I want to show you just how effective these firefighters are on the ground. This is some astounding video time lapse of the Gifford fire as it approached this ridgeline. Here's the firefighters. They're creating what is known as a fire break. It's a natural break in the vegetation to help stop the forward progress of the fire as it travels over these steep mountainsides in Southern California, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo County. And then as we get into the darkness of night, you can see the flames still burning out of control out of what is now the largest fire in California so far this year. And of course, we're just getting into the meat of the season. So it is a challenging situation considering that we're talking about over 80,000 acres that have been burned so far with 9% containment. But when we talk about the relative humidity levels, we want to see them upwards of 50 to even 90%. But right now, they're ranging from 15 to 25%. That's a problem considering that that low relative humidity means we have such a dry atmosphere in place. Then you add the winds that increase and then the temperatures that increase, and we have a recipe here for more explosive fire growth. So this is the Gifford fire. You're looking at the evacuations map. That shading of red is actually the mandatory evacuation orders. It is by law required to evacuate that area. The evacuation warnings surrounding that. There's a lot of smoke associated with the system as well, and this is just incredible because the future forecast of the smoke has it billowing out of the Gifford fire, moving eastward, impacting places like Las Vegas. This is what it looked like on the Strip yesterday, just that hazy, smoky residue over the Las Vegas Strip is just really saying something 400 miles away from the actual fire. So the heat not getting any better this week. In fact, the hazardous fire weather conditions will continue and get elevated as we go forward in time. Jessica?
Yeah, just really telling to see how far that smoke has traveled. Derek Van Dam, thank you so much.